Welcome to the second part of our video series on endgame principles with the great Mark Dvoretsky. Mark, what are we going to learn in this video?
The topic we can call plus equals mod. This topic, this expression I took from the great book of Jonathan Rowson, which I already mentioned you in previous lecture, the 7 Deadly Chess Sins. By the way, maybe today, if this book was written today, maybe Rowson would call, would name this principle by other way, Carlsen's mode or something like this. But in past, those time Carlsen wasn't such strong player, so he gave this title.
So what do we mean by it? Someone is slightly better and you just keep that slightly
how you create troubles for opponents in that position and how defend such position and so on. Here we will analyze example from this book. Which was annotated very well. I very like his annotation, big annotation, not a lot of moves, but a lot of words, interactive words. So I will read some his annotation. And of course, I will add something myself in some moment. But I will read his annotation because first he explained very well, by my opinion, and second that at least you will have some short rest from my bad English because
fine.
I have no, unfortunately, have no any talent to English language. I studied in school and university. I use it in my lectures. I read, wrote a lot of letters, but unfortunately, I had no talent for it.
Perfectly fine. Don't worry about it.
But here, no, behind my accent, at least you will see a very good English language from this book. So I will read text from Rowson. I believe that he will not be have pretensions.
Greetings to our friend Jonathan.
Okay. So it's some chapter from his book, 7 Deadly Sins. Chapter with title plus equals mod. The epigraph to the chapter he took sentence from Bent Larsen, another great player, which I like a lot, by the way. Lack of patience is probably the most common reason for losing a game or drawing a game that should have been won.
Lack of passion?
Yes, lack of patience.
Okay. Patience.
Patience.
No, I got it. Sorry. Passion.
Of course. Patience. Okay. So I will start to read some introduction to this example. And before this example, the idea of playing only for a slight advantage, plus equal or equal plus for if black, for a prolonged period, can be very awkward for the opponent, especially if he wants only to draw and not to play. The player in plus equal mode, plus equals mode, seeks only to maintain a healthy position and very gradually to improve it. Such a strategy is only possible when the position is rather simple. But this is often the case when your opponent is trying to force a draw. Transformation of the teeny advantage are an integral part of the strategy, but the emphasis is on keeping psychological pressure on the opponent, even if your position is only minutely better. Your search is not so much for lines which cause significant problems for your opponent's position, but ways to preserve plus equal factors. The neatest formulation of this idea, which I heard in another context entirely, comes from one of Grandmaster Lev Psachi's pearls of wisdom. The best way to get a big advantage is to play for a small advantage. Okay. The advantage is largely psychological, persistent, and can lead to the disorientation. And so then he started to analyze this example. An example from the game Miles against Webb. Webb, English master, Miles, it's very good, strong English grandmaster, who, by the way, played endgame very well. Very good endgame player.
So the idea is basically to maintain a small advantage and keep posing prompts, not allowing
Yes.
It to go away.
Yeah. What wrote Carlsen about this position? It's forgivable to think that the position is equal. But Black didn't do himself any favors by thinking that position is drawn. The problem with this thought is that if your opponent doesn't agree, then you start to worry that you might somehow have to draw the drawn position rather than just play good moves. Indeed, if your dominant thought is that the position is drawn, you may be inclined to search for moves which force an immediate cessation. And if they are not there, waste a lot of time and energy, which may lead you to make some small concessions, which will encourage your opponent. This is why I call this sin wanting. It's one of 7 sins. I already mentioned about materialism, it's another wanting, you call it. Wanting, because the desire for a result distorts your thinking process and leads to mistakes.
Been there. I think that's very important. That
Yes,
often it's better to just keep making moves instead of thinking, how can I force a draw? This has to be a draw.
Yes. So yes, it's a really smart text. If you will think about it, it's really smart. Idea. I don't know what the momentum was like in this game, but we joined it shortly after Miles has turned down a draw offer. In the given position, his queen is more centralized, and Black's king side is rather more open than White's. This making the 7th and 8th rank a little slippery. Black play rook c2.
Yeah, why not?
Again, normal. a3. How is White going to win this position? There is little chance of force and material game, but somehow he might try to give his pieces a bit more energy than Black's. So I suppose White would like White would like to tie Black to the a7 pawn and then probe the king side. Not that also Miles is playing for a win, he doesn't resort to anything drastic like g4 or h4. The key to plus equal modes is the insight that the responsibility for winning a game is not entirely in your hands. You have to believe in your opponent's fallibility and just enjoy playing the position without putting yourself under excessive pressure to win.
It's connected to this do not hurry principle
Yes,
we talked about
yes.
in the last video.
And some psychological idea that you don't try to find winning way. You should just enjoy by pressure, by playing, by creation some troubles and so on. Then you will see. This reminds me crude but profound insight made by Carlsen and Vazan. I don't know, in the psychology of chess. The task of the player is twofold: to induce errors from the opponent and to avoid errors himself.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, first queen c5. Rook b3. Hurry, protect pawn. Queen takes d4. Carlsen played this move like dubious. Of course, it's not a mistake. We cannot say mistake, but
Still
what he
looks
wrote.
quite drawish to me.
Black is still objectively equal after this move. But from a subjective point of view, this is a crass blunder. Crass, I don't know this word.
Big blunder.
Yeah. Now Miles cannot be prevented from a doubling rook on the open past a3 a file, which will confine Black's rooks to the 7th rank. This matters because it gives White something tangible to refuel his gumption tank. Yeah.
He likes this word gumption.
Yeah,
Gives
he
them long-term
explained
hope
as
to
I'm
get
from
some
Scotland.
energy. Yeah.
For me, sometimes it's difficult to read such books because I don't know Western culture, especially Scottish culture. He explained something, but for me it's not easy, especially with my English. But for people who knows English well, it's just a pleasure to read his text.
I'm not so sure this gumption word.
Yeah, gumption. It's
Rosen
he explained it in
specialty.
his book. Yeah, yeah. Now he knows that his opponent is not immune to making concessions, and perhaps more importantly, we have a role play again. We might say that white is pressing and black is holding.
Right.
Instead, he recommends rook c7 instead of exchange of queens. Is more active and less compliant. Then rook f3, queen c6 is not progress for white. And if queen takes c5, rook 2 takes c5, rook d4, rook a5 doesn't give any ground.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit better version of exchange of queens. So black fight for small details. Why we should make some even simple concessions in such situation? So he suggests to avoid such concession. Rook takes d4. And again he played rook e7. Rosen didn't comment this move. By my taste, I would prefer to play move rook c5. Because after rook a4, I have a5. It's less passive situation. Another my rook is free. So my impression is that it's more solid defense, less passive.
Looks quite equal.
Yeah, of course. So it's maybe against some concessions that he decided to protect pawn on 7th rank. It's more active options, rook c5. So, yeah. Rook a4. Black play king f7, and for my impression, it's also small concessions. Now it was useful to use prophylactic thinking. What next white move in this position? What do you think? Most natural move for white.
Well, you want
rook
to put the
a6,
rook
of
on
course.
a6.
Pressure on f6 and takes more space. So why to allow it? Maybe rook c6 is a good defense to prevent the most natural white move. And then maybe if you will try to double your rook a5, rook b4, maybe I can play my pawn on e6 in some moment and protect on 6th rank. Your rooks will be more passive in the situation. Yeah, so again, I believe that it Rosen also didn't
Another thing,
mention.
I'm not sure it's a priority, but I'd be in a hurry to play h5 in all these positions. Does that make sense? Because I'm always worried that they grab
Not
space
easy to
with
say,
g4.
because maybe I can attack you on 6th rank later on.
We can
And,
do this.
yeah, will advance some my pawn. But maybe it's possible. Yeah. So you say black has many options. It's of course the drawn position. But when you don't worry about such small details, maybe you will have some troubles later on. You still don't need to lose, but you will have more trouble. So rook c6 is another prophylactic move, which was quite useful now. But black played standard move king f7, rook a6. With cheeky threat, rook f3. Of rook f3. When small threats like this start to appear, they help to keep the pressure on your opponent. It suggests that plus equal mod is in full flight. Rook e2, c2, rook d4.
Now rook f3, rook e6.
Yes. Next move, actually, also I don't understand for black. He played rook d7 with the idea to protect pawn from e7 by other rook. But for me, I don't understand why black should have two passive rook on 7th rank. Maybe it's better to have just one passive rook. So maybe rook 2 e6 would be reasonable. Say rook a4, rook takes a6, rook takes a6, and now maybe you move h5, or maybe g5, by the way. So some point move, yeah, it's more safe. It's safer to play when one rook exists, because now weakness not important.
No, it's similar to this.
Similar to previous,
position.
yes, very similar, but a little bit better version for both.
Yeah,
You can play
should
some
be easy draw,
useful.
g5.
Yeah, it should be easy draw. Yeah. So some details Rosen didn't mention, but I believe that's also instructive. Yeah. So he played rook d7. Rook ba4, rook 2a7, And now white plays g4.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's what you mentioned. Yeah, and now Carlsen wrote about that. Black should have played h5 a long time ago to prevent this gain of space. Now f6 is a little tender.
Yeah, no, it's...
Yeah.
Should still be a draw, but it's already
so
like
you are
becoming...
right. You was right, yeah, because h5 was useful. And now black played h5 right now.
More weaknesses, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, create weakness. Interesting example of Carlsen. We will analyze this example. Some line which he gave, and not exact example. Ideas are good, but not exact line. Okay, his annotation to the move h5. Black may have had some fear of being passive here, but in lashing out, he just compromised his position. It's hard to see what white can do if black just sits tight. However, for those who have never tried it, sitting tight can be extremely difficult because it's our natural tendency to want to do something. He gave sample line. What will happen? What happened if black will wait? King g7, h3, king f7, h4. By the way, such details, should you play h4 in one move or two moves, it's also instructive. You try to advance pawn on h5 in both promising positions, so you can compare both version and decide what is more promising. So h4, king g7, f3, king f7. So white improve position slowly. It's of course he can enjoy it because he can play many such moves. King g3, king g7, rook 4 a5, king f7. No, if g5, just pawn takes g5. It's not dangerous. He played h5. No, this is an instructive moment. We will perhaps come back to it. But I continue rows in line. King g7. He played pawn to g5. No, I can add from myself that g5 is not dangerous because black can take on g5. And if rook g5, king h6. It's normal. If you play on g6 first, with idea then takes on g5, then I play h6. Yeah, h6. So it's not dangerous for black. So it's perhaps reason why he rose analyzed pawn take g6. Pawn take g6, pawn take g6, g5. Seems to be the maximum white can extract. But I don't see a way to make further progress after f5.
f5 is forced,
Yeah. For example, rook c5, rook c7, rook d5, rook cd7, rook c5, rook c7, rook takes c7, rook takes c7, king f4, rook e7. Captain king off, by the way. Yeah. So Carlsen stopped here. And he wrote that he don't see what white can do. But
well,
actually,
still the Taimanov plan.
Taimanov, yes, the standard plan. Actually, I believe that Carlsen evaluation is wrong here because for me, position looks extremely unpleasant. A4, king f7, a5, then rook c6, a6, and rook goes to b7. I don't see what black can do because if rook will go somewhere, I can improve position of my king. So my impression is that after this plan is extremely dangerous for black.
Yeah, some pawn endings might be winning it.
Is lost perhaps. Yeah, pawn ending is lost perhaps in this in many version of such position. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe this is winning.
Winning, yeah. It's
looks good.
Different situation comparing with Taimanov. Taimanov's game, pawn endgame would be drawn, but here it's lost. Yeah. So this position is quite unpleasant. It's by the way, a good demonstration that passive defense with passive rooks, it's a very dangerous thing. It's very possible that white will discover something. Of course, we can improve this defense. For example, let's check the position in the 37 move. 37 move. We played king g7, and Carlsen played king g7. But it's very easy to improve defense if you locate our rook on b7. Say rook b7 now, for example. Because if now, what's the difference? If white play exactly the same plan g5, I can just take on g5. And after rook
rook
g5, I
b6.
have rook b6. It's the difference. I will not, wouldn't lose a pawn. Yeah? So
Yeah,
very
it's a
simple
drop.
detail. Yeah. Okay, so it's one improvement of defense. Another improvement, okay, even in the game. When black played... another defense is in this position, instead of rook g7, white played h5. Yeah, we didn't take on g6 yet. Black played king g7 last move. Black even g5 can play g5 in this position.
Yeah, I was wondering about this.
Yeah, because if rook f5, rook e6, rook e6, king e6, rook a5, and we get exactly Taimanov position. Yeah, change colors. And so we can use this technique of cutting king off on e file, for example, king f7 and rook e7. We decided that it's perhaps not winning. Yeah, unpleasant, but still maybe not lost. Yeah. So it's funny that some absolutely different games can lead to similar positions. So it's another reason why instructive to study such position deeply, because such idea can help us. Yeah. Okay. So so let's come back. So passive defense perhaps was enough for a draw, but we should play accordingly in some moments. Rook b7, for example, to prevent, because not every move. But h5 is of course risky. Bad move create weaknesses. Pawn takes h5, pawn takes h5, rook 4 a5, king g6, h4.
Of course.
Rook g5 is a threat. But now black lost patience and missed white's threat. He played the rook e7, rook c7.
It's just a pawn blunder, no?
Yeah, pawn blunder. Rook f7, of course, was natural. Natural. If rook g5, king h6, and still drawn position. He wrote that by no doubt Miles would find a way to keep on playing. Of course, he would create the way to create new troubles, but objectively, it's still should be drawn. So, but it's very often happens that when you're in passive mode, it's unpleasant, psychologically unpleasant. It's very easy to make some blunder like this. Rook c7, and now white wants a pawn. Rook g5 check, king f7, rook takes h5. Rose and wrote, it's not totally clear that white is winning here, but looking of white's clear upward trend, it's hard to see black reasserting himself. Indeed, white won on move 64, but then I will show you the rest of game quickly.
Okay.
King g7, rook f5, rook f7, king g3, rook c3 check, f3, rook c1, rook fa5, rook c7, rook c7, king g4, rook c4, f4, most gradual improved position, rook c7, king f5, rook b7, a4. He played all useful moves before to do something. Principle don't hurry. Don't hurry to win, to do something, improve position to maximum. a4, rook bc7, h5 also useful move, rook b7, and now he changed the nature of position, h6 check, king takes h6, rook takes f6, king g7, rook takes f7, king takes f7. Can you recognize this position? Yeah. It's about same what we discussed in the Taimanov game.
You mentioned that with passive rook, this is always winning it with.
Yeah, I told you that it's always winning. Okay, we didn't see the moves, but no, now you will see how it was happened in this game. Of course, both sides could play different moves, but it doesn't change the relation. Okay, rook a6, normal move, took more space. Rook c7, king g5, king g7, f5, rook d7, a5. He prepares the plan which we already know. Rook c6, rook c8, yeah, and so on. a6, yeah. Not clear what black can do. Rook c7, rook d6. Yeah. No, Black started to Black tried to prevent this plan with his king, but it created new problem. Another problem. King f8, rook d8 check, king e7, rook h8. So he already should go king d6. Now he wins with f4. You defend against plan on queen side, but now I can win with f pawn. King g6, rook c1, rook a8. Good technique. He could win without it, but he wants to take everything. Don't hurry. Also, part of don't hurry principle. It's use all advantages of position. He wants also to have passive rook behind f pawn, which can be queen even without it, perhaps. Yeah, but it's good technique.
F6 is just
it's good technique. Yeah, rook a8, king e5 already active. Rook a8 check. If king d6, then rook a6, king d7, rook a6 wins second pawn. Yeah, so wins on both flank. Yeah, no, he played king d4, king f4, but it's already bad, absolutely bad. f6, rook g1, king f7, rook a1, king g7, king f5, f7, rook g1, king f8, king g6, rook e6 check, resigned. Quite easy, absolutely natural move. So such position wins like this. Easily use both flank and so on. Nothing special. It's not any theory about it. Yeah.
No, it's important to remember this.
Yeah.
This plan. Yeah, we've
This
seen
plan
many
is
times.
instructive. Yeah.
It breaks down the difference.
Yes. Okay, so it's I like this example and Rosen comments how to use it, what it means, this plus equal mode. But of course, I call it Carlsen mode, maybe Carlsen like kind of position. It's of course most natural way to study such position is Carlsen's Kinsel game, which Carlsen play. By the way, he won 2 games like this, exactly in this style, in his first match against Tannant. It was a drawn and he won such 2 games. Of course, to understand it, to understand troubles which Anand had, you can get understand it if you will have very good annotations. In Russian, maybe not only in Russian site and magazine, it was a great annotation by a Russian grandmaster Pavel Maletin. He is a very good annotator with good understanding and very serious analysis. Maybe it was published not in Russian only, maybe in New in Chess, maybe on somewhere else, I'm not sure. But he really commented those games very well. So you should, it's instructive to find those games with annotation, because Anand, a very good endgame player, to see how he couldn't keep a pressure. It's instructive. Yeah, but I will demonstrate you another more simple game. Actually, Artur Yusupov told me about this game. He told me that he was very impressed by this game, and he sent me some his annotations. I also checked it a little bit, and maybe it will be instructive to see.
So whole game, I think we will do it in the next video. It's going to be on the same topic, plus equals mode. We'll break and check out the next video for another example of those. Gotta give the guys a break to get a coffee or something. So we'll be back with more plus equal stuff. Thanks a lot, Mark Dvoretsky.